Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
That was really quick. It was a quick break. We're playing a bunch of different games. Some of them we have models for, some of them we don't. So we played another game in between.
Didn't go so well.
Did not go so well for Juicy. No, Juicy got destroyed.
Yeah,
you gotta be over here.
So that rolls. Shit happens.
It was nasty. So we'll try the Undead and the Ratkin again. It's probably not going to go too much better for me, but hey, at least it gives you guys something to watch, and you guys can see the board a little bit.
You tried that. Did we get two turns? It would have been 3 if I hadn't called it.
So yeah, we'll get going here. I think the scenario is Plunder. Yeah, so we've got 5 objectives or loot counters across the middle of the board, and this one should change up things a little bit.
Yeah.
So
not too much.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with.
Now you know the death engines are kind of gross.
The death engines are nasty. If you guys have somebody playing Ratkin and they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna throw these in there," yeah, take a couple minutes and look at the rules. They're nasty. They're really nasty. All right, we'll get started. So what do we got over here?
2 units of brutes.
All right, brutes. Are they both just regular
standard?
Brutes?
Nothing, no war gear or anything.
Okay.
Got the warlock, lightning bolt, inspiring talisman.
Who the hell's the warlock? Oh, there he is,
Right there,
fucking hiding in the rocks.
rocks.
Pulling some Red Dawn shit right there. Okay.
Got the shock troops.
All right.
Nothing on them. 2 death engines.
2 death engines. Nice,
cool.
nice.
2 units of blight. 1 with strength, 1 with blessing of the gods.
Of course.
We got the blight lord. With
Yes, it is unpainted.
1 unpainted. And you use shock troops. Fire oil.
Fire oil, I hate you. Fire oil. All right, so over here, just because Juicy's in the way.
I do like how you put this.
Sorry guys, we lost the audio here. We had a couple drinks by this game. So first up I have a regiment of mummies. And then next to them I have a horde of revenants. Behind them I have a Lich King with Shroud of the Saint. And he already has heal 3, so now he has heal 6. That's holding on my left flank. In the middle of the board I have a horde of whites with Blessing of the Gods. Behind my horde of whites, I have a Apathis, Champion of Death, which, yes, is my only non-mantic model on here besides some of the Revenants. Sorry for the shaky cam here, guys. Again, we had a couple drinks at this point. So that's another regiment of mummies. And then on my right flank, as most people do, I have a horde of werewolves. And then on the very far right flank, I have another horde of werewolves and a vampire on an undead Pegasus. So just a quick look at the board itself. Obviously, as you can see, his army is much bigger than mine. I was trying to spread out a little bit. You have to with this objective-based game. But as you can see, I have several hills on the board. There are 2 forests. I think there's 4 pieces of impassable terrain, actually, which is kind of heavy on the impassable, and we do actually have a couple obstacles in here as well. As far as objectives go, the 2 silver dice that are on the board are 2 victory points. The 1 black large marker is 1, and then the 2 yellow markers are 1 point as well. Guys, sorry for this weird camera angle. You know, we're always trying different things and trying to give you guys different views and perspectives on things. And unfortunately, this one did not quite pan out very well. But it does show my movement of my fast units on my right flank. Again, I'm trying to push this right flank really heavy so that way I can grab that 2 victory point loot counter. And normally I play these objectives kind of I guess kind of passively. This one I wanted to be kind of aggressive. I knew that I have the speed with the werewolves. I know that once you pick up a loot counter it changes their speed, but I was hoping I could get there, slow down his left flank with my other fast units, grab that victory point and pull that away so that way all I have to do at that point is hold down the middle of the board, you know, let him come to me since his army is bigger and it has a lot more nerve and a lot more attacks. I've got to play smart here with the terrain. and let him come to me, and then hopefully pick him apart that way, already holding a 2 victory point objective, which would definitely help. Tom is obviously facing his units to see what's going on with my my fast units, just to kind of prepare just in case they get there before his units do. He's not
gonna have food like me and you.
Do you want to go?
No.
Okay.
All right, Juicy. All right, end of turn 1. It was a violent turn 1, even though nothing died.
Yeah, not bad. Did a little vile sorcery over on that guy. Got 7 wounds.
Little. Fucking hurt.
Blizzard on these guys. Got 2 wounds. He'll heal him back here in a second.
Yep, that I will. Pretty much everything moved up. Sorry that camera angle. Unfortunately, you guys don't see those, but yeah, exactly.
Look at that camera angle.
Look at that camera angle right there.
Man.
You'd think, but no.
There's the table right there.
You'd think, but no. He moved stuff up and shot. I moved stuff up and didn't shoot because I don't have any shooting.
Slower. You're going way too fast.
Juicy can't comprehend what's going on.
Yeah, Juicy will get like seasick from watching this.
He's
Motion sickness.
Yeah. Motion sickness.
He start throwing up.
On a boat. You don't want me throwing up. On a boat, motherfucker, don't you ever forget.
So anyway, I guess we'll see what happens turn 2. So first thing with turn 2 is a little bit of damage control. I want to try and heal some of my stuff back. It's always important. So I start pushing the left flank a little bit with the Revenants and the Mummies. I have to put a little bit of pressure on him at this point just because I want to show him my intent as far as the middle of the board. I move just close enough to where I'm in base contact with that objective with my whites, so that way I can grab the objective at the end of the movement. And again, I'm trying to play the range game here. If I can slow down his right flank, then maybe kind of see what he is going to do as far as his middle of his board, if he's going to wait until his left flank takes over my right flank, or if he's going to try and move up and address my army and face my army in two different areas of the board, which is not usually his play style. He likes to focus everything on one part of the board. I grabbed the one loot counter, or the objective with my werewolves and turn around because they have nimble, so I'm going to get the heck out of there and try and block for them with my other 2 units. Just to clarify too, with the werewolves to grab the objective, I just know this will probably come up. Somebody will have a comment about this. I actually went forward and then turned around to come back towards the objective and then picked it up at the end of my movement phase. So that way I could effectively be turning the other way around, so that way I can move back towards where my army is. Tom flanks my werewolves. I knew it was going to happen. Either way, I knew it was going to happen either with the the horde of shock troops or with the regiment of brutes. I figured my best chance would be with the regiment of brutes, the horde of brutes. They're both hordes. I figured I had better chances of surviving with a horde of brutes rather than a horde of shock troops on my flank. Unfortunately, it was kind of sacrificial at this point. I tend to do that with my werewolves. It's not always the best strategy. I really hope you guys aren't watching these for tactics, because I am by no means a master tactician at this game. I merely just... if an idea sounds good, I'm going to give it a try. So, Tom obviously wipes out those werewolves and then faces my vampire. All right, so end of turn 2, right? Turn 2? Yeah. Turn 2. It got bloody real quick. We moved some stuff up over here. I think we're both just kind of staring each other down because we've got 2 loot tokens over there. And I would be a little bit less afraid of these guys, but they do have fire oil. Oh, yeah. So and of course I have mummies right there, so that is not good. Over here, sorry, I'll try and go slow for Juicy.
Juicy's a little slow on the uptake.
Over here, the Revenants are not going anywhere. Over here, the Whites grabbed the main objective, and yes, if anybody that was at Adepticon can see that is the official Adepticon 3D printed, whatever the hell it was supposed to be. But we like it.
Yeah.
They grabbed that, and yeah, now they're staring down the Blight, shock troops, well, like a third of the army. Pappy and the mummies are hiding out in the forest because that's what undead do, I guess. I don't know. Over here, my werewolves wiped out a small little
We
horde.
traded little brutes for werewolves.
Little brutes for werewolves. The reason why I did it is so I could block, so I could grab that objective.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see if it works. My vampire survived, thank God. So I don't know, he'll do something. I don't know what he'll do right now. And yeah, so this is where we are after turn 2. This one's faring a little bit better than the other one.
Yeah.
A little bit. A little bit better.
Turn 2.
So far, exactly, so far. So we will see what happens turn 3. So now at this point, I have the 2-point objective. I'm holding down, or at least tying up the right flank. And I'm trying to get my werewolves back towards the rest of my army. And now comes the hard part of, what do I do in the middle of the board? I know what Tom's going to do. Tom wants to sit there and shoot me with his lightning bolts and all of his other shooting that he now has with his Ratkin, which, by the way, is brilliant. I mean, it's definitely a nice little added touch to his Ratkin army. I have heal in my army, so I don't know if my heal can outlast his ranged attacks as far as taking wounds off as he's putting them on. But the issue then becomes he's got a lot of big heavy hitting units that are now coming to the middle of the board. What am I going to do? Am I going to have my whites back off and back into the forest and try and hold those objectives? Again, this is an objective game. It's not based on kill points. It's based on objectives and who has the most, or most victory points, I should say. So I'm not worried about losing units. I just want to make sure that I at least have a unit or a couple of units that are alive at the end of the game that have a majority of the victory points on them. So it kind of becomes at this point, how do I slow the juggernaut of the Ratkin? Tom does a great job of taking out my fast units, and now he's starting to close the gap rather quickly. And he also has some heal or some regen as well, which is helping keep his units alive. There we go. All right, well, yeah, I've at least survived longer this game than I did last. The vampire did a couple wounds and then died. My werewolves ran away.
They're running with the objective.
They're running with the 2 victory point objective. Yeah, my whites moved backwards with their objective. These guys shifted over a little bit. My revenants freaked out by watching the mummies get completely annihilated. Which I gotta say, he rolled exactly what he needed to have him done.
I had to re-roll it and I got 11, so...
Yeah, exactly. So, that was nasty. But hey, they have fire oil. If anybody's wondering about fire oil, not that it's gonna...
5 points.
Yeah, 5 points. Not that it's gonna matter in a couple of months, but...
If you got 5 points sitting around, that's probably the best.
Yeah, fire oil, and especially if you're playing people that have regen a lot.
Just in general. Like, if you have 5 points, what else are you going to put on?
Yeah, actually, I kind of like it. I have Mesa Crushing on my dude for 5 points, and it's a 1 reroll.
Yeah.
Whereas Crushing 2 to anything with regen. Which, now that you're playing Forces of Nature, I might actually put Fire Oil in. Alright, so this is end of 3, top of 4. So right now, I've got 1, 2, 3 victory points, and he's going to be picking up a whole bunch here in a sec. There's still 3 out there, but obviously he is next to picking that one up. That one is kind of in no man's land. And then this one is behind the other unit there for right now. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. As you always know, hindsight is always 20/20. And yes, I know I just moved my werewolves 10 inches and then pivoted them, which you cannot do because they lose their nimble when they have a loot counter. That was my bad. I also probably should have just kept facing them towards the board edge and just ran them off the board edge, because if they do that, at least the old rules in the main rule book said you can run them off the board edge and they leave the table edge and you actually get to keep those victory points. But I had forgotten about that at this point in the game. So anyway, I charge in with my revenants. I surge them in. That's why I moved my caster all the way to the left flank over there. I'm moving back with my whites because they do have that objective counter in the middle, and I know that my whites are going to get crushed if I try and charge them in to one of those units of blight. At this point, it's about playing keep away. It's about, if I can move the units back with the objectives or the loot counters on them, keep them alive as long as possible, hopefully to the end of the game, and then slow his army down with my other units, using them as kind of speed bumps. Maybe I can just hold on until the end of the game. All right, end or bottom of 4. I charged in with my Revenants. Well, I guess I turned and then surged them in. Did some wounds on them. In return, you did 7.
I think you did 7.
Oh, did we both do 7?
We each did
All right.
7.
That was actually really good then for me, because my guys don't normally do 7 wounds. That was actually kind of low then for you, right?
Kind of, yeah.
The No Man's Land is still No Man's Land. The whites got shot a couple times, so they're up to 8 wounds. And yeah, I don't think anything else substantial happened.
Really.
You moved your dudes over here to get closer to my werewolves.
Got regen on.
Yeah. Nothing? All right. We will get started on with turn 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn 5. By the way, 1 objective marker. The other objective marker's there. We got 1 objective marker there, 1 there, and 1 over there. See what happens. All right, so this is a very important pivotal turn in the game. Again, I bring my werewolves back to kind of the middle of my line there. I should have just ran them off the board edge, but unfortunately I don't play this scenario enough with loot counters, and I've never actually gotten back to my deployment area to be able to use that kind of a more obscure rule. So that was my bad. I moved back with my whites, and I actually think I dropped the loot counter. What I'm going to try and do is pick it up with my werewolves, so that way, you know, if I have to have 1 unit with a couple of objectives on it, I can definitely do that, but I want to be able to use my whites to be able to hold off the units that are coming towards them. Guys, I want to emphasize, I know that you guys are going to see a couple of my units get moved a bunch, including Apathis and my unit of mummies. They can move back and forth and back and forth. I'm really happy that, you know, obviously this is not a competitive game. I know that in a competitive play that's definitely not okay. But luckily when you're just playing with your buddies, you know, they're able to give you those opportunities and those chances to, you know, take back moves and move a little bit differently if you want. But it's definitely something that should not be abused. You know, it's one of those things you guys should not do. Don't want to do it too often because then it starts to become a habit, and when you're playing competitive play, that's just not something that you want to rely on. The rest of this just goes bad for me. I charge back in with my Revenants. They don't do enough wounds. I think I only did like 2 wounds. I needed to break through that unit of shock troops so that I could reform and not get flanked by the Blight. That unfortunately does not happen, so that's a world of hurt going up there. He was able to charge, I believe he charges my whites with his unit of Blight in the middle there, and then as you can see I was able to surge my mummies up and kind of hold off that unit of shock troops. The other game was over really quick. This is going to go to top of 6.
Top of 6.
And it still looks like a good game. You know, it's still a good game. That's what matters. Alright, so a lot happened in turn 5. My Revenants charged back in, and with 25 attacks, I did 2 freaking wounds. I wavered this unit.
You wavered them.
I wavered them.
Somehow.
But I knew that I had to break through these guys here and grab that objective and then turn, because I knew those guys were going to flank. Well, they flanked because I only wavered and was not able to reform, and then they got demolished
I think you have
by the Blight.
27 wounds?
I had 27 wounds when I pulled my Revenants off the board. So yeah, that sucked. Thanks a lot, Revenants. Way to go on your 2 fucking wounds. So, and I mean, come on now. Come on, really? Ridiculous. Anyway, over here, you know, it's funny, the tale of 2
Wiffle
blights.
bats.
Yeah, the first blight, they were ready to go. These ones, not so much.
No, they did wiffle bats out.
I think they did, what, 4 wounds? So got them up to 7? Yeah. They keep, like, hovering right around there.
Right around there.
Right around there. My werewolves, I moved them around here. I dropped that objective with my whites. So now I'm going to try and pick them up with my werewolves and keep on trucking. And my whites are going to probably charge back in. But uh-oh, he brought his stuff over here. But I also smashed in with my... Smashed. Or like tapped in with my mummies. Did a couple wounds.
Yep.
He did a couple wounds. That's... I wish I could say he's going to tar pit for a while, but he's probably going to flank there. So it looks like right now he's probably going to get that objective. He's probably going to have that one. And he's going to have that one. So he's going to have 3 to my 2, but you just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. We'll keep on trucking. You just never know what's going to happen. Because it still is only turn 6.
Turn 6. Top of 6.
Here we go. Cannot believe it went to turn 6 here. The game did not look good for me, especially at the end of last turn, of turn 5. So here I'm trying to salvage a draw. You know, if I can contest the one objective next to the house, and I have 3 points worth of loot counters, he'll have 3 as well. You know, there might be a chance there for a draw instead of a loss. You don't ever want to play for a draw, but if that's all you got to play for other than a loss, you know, you're going to play for what you got. So I charge in with Apathis to try and slow down the shock troops and try and help contest that objective. I move the werewolves over to pick up that loot counter, so that way I have it only on 1 unit, and then I hope that my whites can hold off the blight. So the camera battery died, so just to recap real quick, it's going to be bottom of turn 6 here. Did a couple wounds with the blight. I moved Pappy in the middle there to try and hold up, because pretty much right now it's on that objective. He will have to grab that objective and have to grab that objective. And it's all going to come down to that objective. So we'll see what happens. Those guys are right around the corner. I was debating on whether or not to turn that way or turn or whatever, so I figured the lesser of 5 evils and do that. So we shall see what is going to happen. We'll go from there.
I have no fucking idea.
Wow, that turn went bad really quick. The whites had 0 damage. He killed them with a unit of blight. Granted, they have Brew of Strength and you Bane Chanted them, so they have Crushing 2. But ouch, he killed him. Just outright killed him. Yep. Even on a reroll, he actually got box cards.
No shit.
So we got them out of the way. Thank God I passed off the fucking thing to the werewolves. Yeah. Somehow Pappy didn't die.
Pappy, yeah.
Fearless 21, he rolled a 20.
I rolled a 20.
Which is beautiful. Pappy don't die. That objective is still out there. It is bottom of turn 6.
Turn 6.
So,
Do it.
guess we'll see if the game goes on. It goes on.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's not good for me. That's not good for me. That's not good. All right. All right. So, we're going to talk about how going to turn 7 sometimes is bad. This just looks epic. I just think that's cool looking.
Pappy.
Pappy.
Taking the charge from everybody.
Yep, got everybody right there. Everybody around him. So, Tom got that last objective. So, we got that one. He has that one, and he has that one. I had these 2, which would have given me still a loss of a 3-2. But then, of course, the blight being the blight, they charged through the forest and still did 10 wounds, and then of course rolled a 9 and then an 8, I believe.
I believe so.
On nerve.
Yeah,
So
the blight don't whiff.
So killed them too. So what's that?
The blight don't whiff.
Yeah, his blight do not whiff.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
So this game went from being a draw turn 6 to being a total loss.
Yeah.
Almost
Pappy
table.
would have died. This guy would have killed him.
Yeah. My only dude left standing would have been this guy
That
here.
guy.
But you know what though? I gotta say, I mean, draws are fun. I like draws. It makes me feel better. But you know what? It was still a good game.
Good
It was a good game. I mean, it had some shifts and some swings.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about juicy. So
Juicy.
that loss over there really, really hurt with my revs whiffing. That hurt bad. Yeah. You did roll really well when you needed to with the blight, especially. The blight of your MVP, just running through everything.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't
Blight did
freaking
good.
stop him at all. I mean, I don't know how the hell that unit, which is not really meant to be a hammer,
Yeah.
My
is
sticky,
crazy.
my sticky tar pit. Oh.
Your tar pit became a hammer this game.
Pushed almost across the table. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it almost went completely across. There's
All
the
the
board
way.
edge. And I figured running all the way from there, running all the way over here, I'd have been safe. But
There.
what's that? What are you talking about?
They were right there.
Oh no! I'm talking about my werewolves.
Yes,
My
werewolves
werewolves
come
were
all the
over
way
here.
back.
I had them
Yeah,
come
yeah,
all
yeah.
the freaking way back here, and I figured they'd be safe. Nope, not from the blight. Nope. And I figured you can't run through the whites in one turn. They're fearless. They're in the
Blight
forest.
killed what? The variety?
Dude, if they don't have 6 on defense,
Yeah, dude,
they don't have 6 on defense, the blight's gonna run through them.
Which is just absolutely crazy. So anyway, that was a good game.
Good game.
That was a good
Very
game.
cool.
Like I said, if something else would have gone a little bit different, or literally if a dice would have rolled differently that last turn, it would have been a draw instead of a loss.
That's how it goes every time.
Sometimes it actually is just a draw.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time it's you lose up the dice roll. Get 2-3 bad dice rolls and you're out.
Sorry, Juicy's a little bit salty right now. So.
Why am I salty? I didn't lose. I mean, I lost earlier, but you lost this time, so I'm not salty.
He's still a little salty.
That makes
Juicy's
sense.
a little salty today.
He's a little salty. Yes, salty. He's a little salty.
Literally no sense.
We have been drinking some alcoholic beverages, so yeah, we are going to go ahead and turn it off for today, and catch you guys later.